Tell me, Mark, tell me why it's so important to create a common culture within a company like yours. I recently had a great discussion with Mark Bodner and Annette Lucas about the L&R Way. Mark Bodner and Annette Lucas, we are here today to talk about a fabulous new concept, the L&R Way. What the L&R Way sounds like to me, it sounds like it's a common culture that you've developed within this company of yours. 1,100 employees and growing from coast to coast. Let's get to it. Tell me, Mark, tell me why it's so important to create a common culture within a company like yours.
Well, again, thank you for being here and agreeing to host. And it's exciting for us to be at this. It's a culmination point, but it's also a new beginning.
Sure.
But before I get started, I'd like to just really show some gratitude to a few people who have been, specifically two, have been really engaged with us. Someone I consider my mentor, Lee Brower, and Riley Murray. I call him a mentor as well. Riley's the president of our company, and we've been together for I don't know 18. We always say 18 years, but we say 18 years for like a few years now. So it may be more than 18 years, and he continues to challenge and push the envelope, and the beginning of this really started with him pushing for this. So, and of course our management team, who has been a part of this process for the last 18 months, knowingly or unknowingly. Mm-hmm. So I just want to start with that. In terms of your question and why is it important to develop a common culture within a company, really I look at it as three reasons. Number one, it's about how we engage with each other. A company with 1,100 people, there's a lot of engagement, personal interaction. So when you have a common culture, there becomes part of the importance of that is language and vocabulary, how we interact with each other and really help each other out by using really good words and good definitions of those words around principles, which we'll get to, I'm sure, is really important. How we engage and communicate with our customers, our suppliers. That's like probably the most overarching importance of having a common culture.
Okay, so we have the interaction from employee to employee. That's one. What would be another part of the culture? Another part of this?
It's a culture is, again, we get back to the core of it, which is our principles. Principle really is something for us to use as a tool, or a better word I think would be a guide. It's really to guide us on when we're in a situation, when dealing with each other, dealing with a customer, dealing with a supplier, and we go back to the L&R Way, which is going back to our core principles, and say, how should my behavior be, my reaction when someone says something that tweaks me, when a customer is really upset or a supplier is not giving us what we think we deserve. So what's that common culture? What's the L&R Way? That's a set of tools, of a guide of how do we handle that situation when we find ourselves. And as we continue, hopefully be able to share some of those stories.
Annette, this strikes me as it's more than a list of rules. In many companies, people get, you get hired and you get a list, and there's a to-do, and do's and don'ts. This is instituting a way of life within the company.
Definitely. We've looked at other companies where they had those lists, and they did not abide by them. It was a culture in their own mind. So we found that working on this long and growing into these principles, it just made our life easier, made business easier. This is something I bring home with me. And we're able to now communicate without having this tantrum. And if I do something wrong, he'll tell me, what have you learned from this? He'll ask me that question. And knowing that I learned from everything is huge, opposing to what I've lost.
So, give me a few of the principles of the L&R way. It sounds like you want people to take ownership of their roles within the company.
I like the word proactive. It actually is one of our principles. So going back to being proactive. So what does that mean? So before we even talk about that, right? We can just open a Webster's dictionary and say proactive, turn to P and figure it out and say proactive means whatever that definition is, but that's not what it means in the L&R vernacular. We have create our own dictionary around proactive, where if you look at the core of our company, it's been gutsy leadership, it's been directive, it's been, hey, you do this and you do that, and then we get it done, and then we do some more of it, and we've developed a team that is just awesome at what we're asking for now. Is to convert. We're asking to create a culture where we're looking for change agents. We're looking for people who are willing to challenge. We have who are willing to put themselves out there, where that type of a behavior of challenging is not only asked for, it's rewarded.
So you're saying you want an entrepreneurial spirit within the employees. So again, it's counterintuitive. You're telling the members of the L&R family who are watching this for the first time, hearing about this L&R way. You're saying is hey, we're all in this together, and at the same time though, we want you to be proactive. We want you to take initiative, and then come to us and let us know how it went. Am I close on that, Annette? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, definitely.
A company of entrepreneurs.
Right.
Or at least an entrepreneurial spirit.
Right, and to have that end goal in mind, where if you're doing it for the right reasons. So, that's very important. So if you're doing it for the right reason, you're always rewarded then.
Yeah, what would a right reason be?
You're not doing it to self-serve. It's serving your team and the company and the customer's customer. When things are done, or you hear of a good idea and you're taking it and you're saying, well, this is me. It's not about that. It's about growing that culture of everyone coming together.
Tell me about useful. I love that thing you've put together, and what it means, and what's it all about.
That's the rallying cry, and that's really why. Why are we here? We're here to ensure that we're going to create the best experience for our customer. And how do we do that? Through the L&R way, through our principles.
This is something that you're introducing, and this is, as you said, you've been living with this. You've been working on this. You and your team have been putting this all together, and now it's a new thing for the rest of the L&R family. So there's bound to be some growing pains, and what you're saying is, hey, look, we're asking you to be proactive. That's a big task. But yet there's that trust that's inherent that we're talking about. So part of that trust is displayed or put to work, if you will, when it comes to this whole idea of everybody being learners. In other words, what you're saying is we trust you, and we also know, you said you stumble along the way. We also know mistakes are going to happen, but our trust continues even when you make a mistake, because it's an opportunity to learn. So why don't you talk about the learning aspect of all this, about a family of learners, if you will.
Yeah, so let's talk about learning, because we're going to make mistakes. We're going to be proactive. We're going to challenge the status quo. We're going to change something, and we will, because I know I have. So the question is, do we, go in a corner and feel bad, or are we learners? Mm-hmm. How do we become learners? We ask a couple of questions. In anything that we do, if we can focus on what have we done right, and how do I do more of that right? Let's just start out. We just went through it just happened a couple of weeks ago, a really painful experience. Mm-hmm. And I think, I ask myself, look in the mirror and say, how would I have reacted to that situation, a couple of years ago? And I got 3 words that have been stricken from my vocabulary along the way here. Like, I was famous for saying, I can't believe. I can't believe we would make such a mistake. I can't believe we wouldn't have. I can't believe are 3 words. I got to put $20 on the table every time I use it. Not use it anymore. It's out. And replace with, okay, let's learn. So what worked? Okay, I know it was a bad experience, but there are things that have worked. Sometimes you have to, really work on that, and let's just come up with one. And then we ask the question, hey, knowing what we know today, right? We had this experience, wasn't so good, or even if it was good, knowing what we know today, if I had to do this over again, what would I do differently? That's learning.
Boy, this L&R Way sounds like a recipe for success. And it sounds like a recipe for a healthy work environment. Annette, I'll start with you. What's your heart tell you about going forward and how this is going to settle in throughout the company?
I know that this rollout is, just to take away a little bit from it, just to take away that our hearts are how we are doing business together and how we're going and growing is what we want to have everyone be embraced in and be able to move up with.
In other words, you're not implementing or imposing this on the company. You're sharing it with the rest of L&R.
Yes, and if everyone can look at these principles and see their role in it, and everyone has a role in this, and how they could grow, that would be amazing.
Mr. I Can't Believe, huh? A couple of years removed from Mr. I Can't Believe to now, oh my gosh, what a great thing. So here we go. We're rolling it out, the L&R Way.
So I think it's we spoke about authenticity, and again, authenticity is again not something that you can, pursue. Again, it's really important.
It has to happen.
It has to happen. It almost has to be. You want it to happen and roll it out. Where right now it's ahead of us. We want to get ahead of it, so it's now chasing behind us. It's ensuing us. I think it's so important for there to be acknowledgement that I get it. This is not who we are today, and I'm going to quote John Wooden here. And I'll probably misquote him, but I'm going to.
The great legendary basketball coach.
So
yes.
we're not who we want to be. We're not who we're going to be, but we're a lot better than we used to be. That is the rollout of the L&R Way. It's an acknowledgement. Yeah, I get it. This is not who we are today as a company. This is not who we are today as the principal owners of the company. This is not who we are today as a CEO of the company. So the expectation is that, hey, this is not like we talked about earlier. This is not like software you install on a computer and boom, it just works. This is going to be, this is going to be checks and balances to this. This is going to be, hey, it's okay. I'll probably say again before this is all over, I can't believe. Yeah. But someone will tell Mark, you're not communicating. And then you're right, I'm not communicating. And this is a work in progress. Mm-hmm. This is a rollout. Yeah. This is something that's going to take days and weeks and months and years of cultivating. Yeah. And as we bring new people into the fold who don't have the history, how awesome is it going to be for them to really be introduced to this? Yeah. I think that's really it's so exciting to us. As the principals of the company, to us as the senior management team of the company, to be able to introduce this, because it's really going to give us a whole new way of operating with each other, with our customers, with our suppliers, and this becoming, really the core of what L&R is.
Yeah, and so today we're telling everybody, the whole L&R family, you're about to be involved in something really exciting, really positive, and something for future generations as L&R grows. And again, as we're talking about this, and in the days and months to come, everybody within L&R can go to thelrway.com and get more and more familiar with these principles and this way of life, this culture, the L&R Way within the company. And again, congratulations on this rollout. Congratulations on looking out for your customer's customer and empowering all of the 1,100 plus people around the country who are part of this family, this culture, the L&R Way. Congratulations, Mark and Annette.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank
Way
you.
to go.